Welcome to Around Kitsap. In this program, we're going to go in depth on topics that are important to everyone in Kitsap County. Our topic today is going green in Kitsap, and we're going to be talking about water quality and how we can improve that in our whole community and especially in our own home, in our own yards. And with me is Mindy Phone. Mindy is the Water Quality Manager. Did I get it right?
You did.
I did. Water Quality Manager with Kitsap County. Welcome, Min.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Mindy and I have been friends for a long time, and she is very, very good at what she does. She's all about water, and her and I have been reminiscing about how long we have known each other and worked together, and it's really great to have you today, Mindy.
Thank you.
Well, let's get started first of all on Clean Water Kitsap. We heard last summer from Commissioner Gelder did a whole program on Clean Water Kitsap. Give us the background and who is involved.
Well, about 20 years ago, Kitsap County had some real water quality problems, and the community came together and recommended to the Board of County Commissioners to form a stormwater utility. And that was done in 1994, and it was named the Kitsap County Surface and Stormwater Management Program. Really, SWIM, the mouthful. And SWIM, for the last 20 years, is a partnership between Kitsap Public Health District, Kitsap Conservation District, WSU Extension, and also Kitsap County Public Works Stormwater Division runs the program and implements a lot of the program. We renamed ourselves Clean Water Kitsap last year. And it's just to make it real clear that that's what the focus is and our common goal and our common agenda of these different agencies.
So we're going to talk today about Silverdale, and very important to a large number in our community. Either you're living in Silverdale, you go there to make purchases, you're traveling through Silverdale. Silverdale has changed tremendously since early 80s, mid 80s, when the mall went there. And along with the mall comes lots of concrete, lots of new roads, lots of new parking lots, and Dyes Inlet was directly affected by that. So, Min, give us the history of the Dyes Inlet water quality. Let's start with that.
Okay, well, back in the 1980s when submarine base Bangor was located up here, that's when Silverdale really took off and was developed. And in that development, a lot of roads and pavement and stores, which we all like to go to, and we enjoy Silverdale very much. But what that did was, the stormwater runoff picks up the pollutants and delivers it right to Dyes Inlet. Back in the 1960s, the shellfish beds were closed in Dyes Inlet, and it's about 2,000 acres of shellfish beds.
Why in the 60s, do you know?
The State Department of Health they came in and made a declaration that pollution was so bad, there was data that showed the pollution was bad, and that there were so many potential pollution problems that they just closed it. And they did this across Puget Sound in the urbanized areas.
Okay.
And so basically they were abandoned in the 60s. And with the stormwater utility and the program, the work of citizens, folks with farms, there were programs throughout the 90s and early 2000s to clean up the fecal coliform pollution problem. This included fixing failing septic systems, fixing agricultural livestock waste problems, cleaning up commercial properties so that their stormwater systems were clean and their practices on their properties were clean, and cleaning our whole stormwater system and maintaining those systems. What we found was through all those efforts, the bacteria pollution problem improved. We saw the levels in Dyes Inlet reduce, and they were so reduced and so clean that in 2004, the half of the shellfish beds, about 1,500 acres, were opened, which was remarkable to have shellfish beds in an urbanized area improved. But the stormwater from Silverdale, as it flows into Dyes Inlet at the north end, those beds are closed. But that water threatens the beds to the south, the open beds. And so that's what we're doing now, is working hard to clean up that stormwater. And the next step is to go green.
And that's what we really want to talk about. How is the county working with property owners, homeowners to go green and really help Dyes Inlet, really help Dyes Inlet. So let's talk about building green systems. And I know you have a whole list, and let's start with tree box filters.
So tree box filters, if you drive around the Silverdale Way roundabout, the trees in the middle, that's a tree box system, tree box filter, and it's a concrete box underneath the road where the water flows into the box through a special engineered soil media, and then the water leaves the box cleaner than when it entered. That media removes about 90% of the metals, copper, zinc. It removes the oils and greases, and it removes some of the bacteria that is a problem too. Mm-hmm. So tree box filters are on Silverdale Way in the roundabout. They're on Buckland Hill, and we did some pipe work up on the upper part, the east part of Buckland Hill Road, and you'll see tree boxes there.
Mm-hmm. To John Q. Citizen, they look like trees.
They do, they do.
But what's underneath it is the important thing.
Exactly. They're designed and built to accept those flows, and they flow into the box and then leaves it cleaner.
Mm-hmm. The next thing on the list is something many of us have seen in this community, and those are rain gardens.
Yes. Rain gardens 5 years ago, a lot of people didn't know what they were. Now a lot of people know what they are. So we have rain gardens. They're also called bioretention facilities. That's the engineering term for them. If you go to the YMCA, there are rain gardens there. There are rain gardens at the fairgrounds. There's a rain garden at REI at their parking lot. So they're all over the place. And the way you can tell is that they're a depression, and you can see that the water is diverted towards them from the parking lot area. And they usually have some sort of structure for that when they fill up, that the water then exits through usually it's a center structure.
And they work really well. Again, the same filtration system.
Exactly, they work very well. They're designed to hold water for about 24 to 48 hours, and they'll drain through. You'll see water in them overflowing during the really big storms, but they are very good at removing the pollution from our small and medium-sized storms, and that's where we have a higher concentration of pollution.
Talk to us about treatment wetlands.
So stormwater treatment wetlands, stormwater ponds have gotten a bad rap over the years. People will call them water prisons and whatnot. This is a little different. This is where the water is brought to an area or drained to an area that's a larger piece of land, and the first area the water enters is called a forebay, and that's a deeper depression for the sediment to settle out and the pollutants to be treated. And then after the forebay area, there's a circuitous route, a wetland route for the water to flow through, and it's designed to be from anywhere from 6 to 18 inches deep of water. And special plants are in the bottom that are suited for that environment that promote the removal of the pollution. We have a stormwater treatment wetland behind the bowling alley, and you don't even know that's really what it is, and it functions very well. It collects the water from most of Randall Way, and it's a large amount of water that flows into that treatment wetland, and before it leaves the wetland and it enters Clear Creek.
And it helps tremendously.
It does.
Talk to us about permeable paving. First of all, what does permeable mean?
So permeable means the water flows through the pavement, and it can be pavers, it can be concrete, it can be asphalt. They all have the characteristic that they have pores in between the material that the water flows through. Once the water flows through, it enters a coarse-based gravel bed. Sometimes there's a sand layer in there to help enhance removal of pollutants. And so there's a base layer underneath. And it's very effective, and it can look nice too.
And you really don't know that it's any kind of different paving than really what you've seen all over the county.
We have pervious concrete at the YMCA, and I bet people don't know there's pervious concrete in the parking lot in Silverdale at Seebeck Pizza. And so it's in various areas.
So the county is currently retrofitting some systems and using, where are those systems, and tell us how we're retrofitting.
Yeah, so when we need to retrofit Silverdale. Those stormwater systems in Silverdale, when they were built in the 80s and 90s, virtually no treatment of the waters, basically collects the water and pipes it right into the creek and carries all the filth and grit from our daily activities right into the creek and the bay. So a couple of years ago, we put together what's called the Silverdale LID retrofit plan, and we worked in partnership with the Clear Creek Task Force and with the school district, and looked at places throughout the county, or through Silverdale, where were the locations where the water was not treated well. So if you have a bioswale or some other type of treatment, we didn't want to retrofit there because it was getting a pretty high level of treatment. So we identified those areas, and then we prioritized these areas based upon the feasibility to do the project, the water quality benefit, and also public education benefit factored in. And we worked with our partners to prioritize those. And that plan provides a roadmap of the order of projects to do and implement. And what's good about this project or the program is that as we build these systems, these retrofit systems, we have water quality data that's collected monthly in Dyes Inlet as a feedback mechanism of, do we need to do more, or have we achieved our goal?
Who does the testing, Min?
Kitsap Public Health District does the testing. They're a partner, a Clean Water Kitsap partner, and they have over 20 years of data. So we have long-term data to provide as a feedback mechanism.
Excellent. So let's talk about these projects. First of all, if you've been to the very end of Byron Street, the cul-de-sac where the gazebo is, in that cul-de-sac is a great project. Tell us about that.
That was our Byron Street Water Quality Enhancement Project, and that was constructed in April of 2014 of this year. And what it is a 20-foot by 25-foot concrete boxes underneath the ground, and the drainage water from Silverdale Way that comes down Byron Street is collected into that box, and that box is filled full of a special media filter that cleans the water before it leaves the box. So that's very effective. And then on top, what you'll see are the permeable pavers, which they enhance the area, the look of the area, and the water soaks down through the pavers into that coarse bed layer.
How about Silverdale Way, and there's some tree box filters there?
So this year, same thing. It just took, I think it was a 5-day construction window. It was very quick and fast. The contractor put in 6 tree boxes on Silverdale Way on the west side. And so those boxes collect the water from Silverdale Way, which is a very busy street. And because of I think it's 20,000 vehicle trips daily, there's a high concentration of copper and zinc and the oils and greases that come off that road. So the 6 boxes, they're situated in the sidewalks, but the sidewalks are nice and wide, so we could fit them in there without having to tear up a lot of area. So it's a cost-effective project to treat about an acre of high vehicle use area.
Excellent. So the next one is a Suquamish word, dequock. I said it right. The Dequock wetlands. So tell us about that. Interesting, really interesting.
So Dequock is, it's a Suquamish tribal name. I worked with the tribe on picking out a name that was appropriate, and it means pocket estuary in the back of the bay, which really this is what this project is. And at the corner of Levin Road and Ridgetop Boulevard, where there's an espresso stand, I think if you do walk the Clear Creek Trail in that section, there is a 3-acre open grassy area. And that area was slated for development, and the county recognized a terrific opportunity for stormwater treatment. And so the county purchased that property, and the project is in 90% design, and it will be a stormwater treatment wetland. It will be an enhancement to the community, very green, lots of plants, habitat for birds and animals, and it will take 13 acres of runoff from the Cartoys complex, that's what I call it. The parking lot back there, the roofs, that area will then flow into the forebay and through the treatment wetland before it exits the facility into Clear Creek through a naturalized channel.
And if you've ever walked that part of the Clear Creek Trail, which I don't think a lot of folks do, because it's on that, it'd be the western side of the creek. As you're walking there, all of a sudden you see this open field. It's like, oh, this is beautiful here. You'd never know that piece of property is there unless you were walking on the trail. Very good, very, very good. I mean, let's talk about partnering with property owners, big property owners, and how the county is working with them.
Well, so we've been talking about projects that are in the road right-of-way. When we're doing projects, we're doing construction projects, we look for, let's say, a road project or a sewer project. We're looking for opportunities to upgrade the stormwater system there and treat the water. But that's not going to solve the whole problem that we have. And we all live in watersheds. And as property owners, whether it's a commercial property or private property in our own homes, we have the opportunity to do our part to soak up runoff. It's called the Rain Garden Cost Share Program. It is funded with the stormwater utility funds, those fees. And so the Kitsap Conservation District runs this program. It's been very successful, and the focus has been rain gardens. They provide technical assistance, a site visit, some design. But the big part that we want people to know about is that there's $1,000 incentive for putting in these kinds of systems, for putting in rain gardens. And we recognize that there's more than just rain gardens that people can do. So we've added to that incentive this year, or the Conservation District has, such things as soakage trenches, rain barrels, cisterns, splash blocks, permeable paving. So the pavers, if you're going to redo your patio, consider putting in some permeable paving. Or if you have a parking area that you want to redo, you may want to consider the systems that are gravel with a plastic grid underneath with the coarse space gravel underneath. And I think those are all of the and soil amendment. Soil amendments is another practice that you can put that funding towards. So it's something where you take your lawn and you top dress it with compost. And my boss, Chris May, his lawn was the first one to go through a soil amendment treatment. And he's a little upset with his wife because now he has to mow the lawn a lot. And it's growing really well, but because it's so healthy, during the rainy season, it will soak up more water rather than sheet flow water. So there's these other practices. If you can't get a rain garden in because of some limitation, there's these other options.
Other options that will really help. Mindy, how is the county working with big box stores and some of those in Silverdale to really work on the water flow thing?
Yeah, so in Silverdale, we are partnering with the Central Kitsap School District. We have provided a couple of preliminary designs for retrofits on some of their properties. The key one is the admin building right next to Strawberry Creek. The water from that building just flows straight into the creek untreated, and they recognize that too, and they have limitations, but they're looking into doing a retrofit there. And also they are looking into doing a retrofit, really great opportunity at Olympic High School too. And then we're partnering with Costco. Costco is remodeling some of their property, and so they were required to upgrade a portion of their stormwater system through our Department of Community Development, and they've elected to go green and put in some rain gardens.
Excellent.
Yeah, and the mall is one that in the future we've been in conversations with them, would really like to partner with them. It would be very novel and very cutting edge to develop a public-private partnership with the mall to retrofit part of their parking lot, test it out and see how it works, and somehow garner some grant funding to come in and do that. It's one of those things off in the future, but we do need to address the mall. The mall is basically the headwaters area that was filled in for the downstream area, and so it's an area we really could use to soak in runoff.
I heard you just mention grant money, and Kitsap County is at the forefront of this work with stormwater runoff, but the amount of grant money that the county has secured is phenomenal. Give us those figures.
About $6.5 million in the last 4 years has been secured, and it's a combination of factors. It's our board encouraging and directing us to have a green program, and then at the same time the Washington State Department of Ecology and the Puget Sound Partnership, cleaning up Puget Sound, recognizes that stormwater is the #1 threat to Puget Sound. So the state legislature has made funding possible for money that will construct projects. And we're very excited about funding that gets projects in the ground rather than planning. So we're in the same mindset.
Yeah, excellent. And like we said, Kitsap County is right in the front of all this kind of work. Partnerships, grant funding, actually getting the work done. Congratulations on that. Mindy, tell us about some projects that are county-owned, the county land, for instance, the road shop on the south end of the county.
Yeah, so we have a water as a resource policy at Kitsap County. There's a resolution in 2009 that says water is a resource, not a waste stream. And in that policy, there's an implementation plan. And if we have to be an example of good green practices for stormwater. So we looked at all our properties throughout the county, and we're picking off one by one, retrofitting them. And some of the novel ones, South Road Shop, what you're talking about, if you go to the South Road Shop, there's a bioswale that's lined with oyster shells.
Yeah, that's cool. But so what are the oyster shells? Just add another layer of filtration?
So oyster shells, this is a demonstration that was done in Vancouver, at the Port of Vancouver. Oyster shells are very good at binding copper, and copper is toxic to fish. So that's one project we have that we installed.
Great.
And another example is at the fairgrounds, the Conservation District, Kitsap Conservation District, working with Parks Department, another partnership out there, to install pervious asphalt, to install rain gardens, and also Stormwater Division, we retrofit the stormwater pond out back so that it functions much, much better in terms of water quality.
Water is very important to everyone in the world, and those of us that have it enjoy it. And there's many parts of the world that don't have water, and so we need to take care of our environment. And if you need resources for your home, for your office, where can folks go, Mindy?
I think the best place to go is www.cleanwaterkitsap.com. stormwater.org. And at the website, you'll see at the top there are tabs in the community, at your home, at your business, and in the classroom. And so if you're a business, take a look at our business section, and for your home and in the community. It's a good resource. And all our partners are on that website, so you can get a hold of the Conservation District or WSU Extension.
I think as we sit through the doldrums of winter and look at our yards and go, oh, I can't wait till I can work in my yard. How can I help the stormwater situation? Rain gardens, cisterns, permeable paving, and then there was a water block or the block, what was
Splash
that?
blocks.
Splash blocks. Those are all probably listed on that website. Ways that, number one, you can get help with funding to do the improvements in your own yard.
You can also come to the Spring Home and Garden Show. We will have a booth all about these kinds of practices and about the Rain Garden Cost Share program. Come and see us. We are planning right now, and we'll have a rain barrel there, permeable paving, good examples. So you can touch them and see them and talk to the technical experts.
Excellent. Great ideas. Mindy, thank you so much for coming in today. Mindy, again, is Water Quality Manager with Kitsap County, and lots of great ideas. Thanks for joining us today on Around Kitsap. We'll see you next time.